This is a Scrap Your Stash Wednesday, and I'll be doing a card. I'm going to be using Daisy Meadows. I have quite a few scraps of that, but I think I'm slowly using them up. So I have Daisy Meadows Mint and Peacock, and of course White Daisy for sentiment. Then I also have some flowers cut out today that I may or may not be using, we'll see. And then I have a new stamp set to show you as well. That will be in the next catalog, the May-June catalog. Super exciting stuff. So, I'm going to be moving this aside, and let's go ahead and get cutting. Okay, so bring my trimmer in. This one, let's cut the Daisy Meadows pattern paper first, and that is going to be a 3 3/4 by 4. So let's just measure this and make sure it's 3 3/4. I think it is. Yep, 3 3/4 by 4. Just need to trim it just a teeny tiny bit. I'm sorry, 4 1/4. Make sure it goes all the way across the card, huh? There we go. So I only have like a 1/4 inch to trim off that one. This one is quite a large scrap, so a bit of trimming, and then I'm going to trim it a little bit. I'm going to trim 2 pieces off of this one. This is going to be a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And in fact, I only need this one piece. I'll just trim a little bit off of this one. There's this one. I just need, let's see here. Oh, I actually want this one differently. So we'll trim this one more, because I do want that a little bit different. So, got my measurements a little bit off, and then I just want 1/2 inch off of this guy. That could actually be 1/2 inch the short way. So there's a scrap. So there's those 2 pieces. I'll set those over here. This is trash. I'm going to do this one at 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. So let's just do 4 1/4 first. By 3 3/4. And actually that one may actually be what I need. I need another 1/2 inch guy. That's pretty close. I'm going to just leave it. So I need 2 1/2 inch strips. They're going to be really little once I cut them down. Okay, this one, let's bring this one back in. I do need it 4 1/4, which it's already 4 1/4, but let's do 3 inches instead. Okay, so this I can actually use for another scrap. And I think that's all I pretty much need for right now for the trimmer. Okay, so let's bring our card base in. Start building this card. It's going to be a horizontal or a vertical card. Now I'm going to put the ridge, see the ridge, put that down. I rarely bend them before unless you're in one of my workshops, then I do, so that you can actually see me working on it. But when I'm actually working on a card, I rarely bend it before I'm done taping everything. Actually, I'm not done with my trimmer. Let's put that aside because I just realized I'm not done with my trimmer. I need to measure a couple things on this one. So we're going to trim it down at angles. Okay, so this one is going to be, I'm just going to move this up here, and I'm going to mark it so that that's the 4 1/4. I'm going to mark it 1 3/4 inch down. So 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and then I'm going to mark it in the middle, okay, which is 2 1/8. So 1 2, and there's my 1/8. Okay, so there's my 3 marks there. I'm going to do the same on these ones, except for they're going to be different side measurements, but 2 1/8 is going to stay the same, because I want the middle. Okay, this one is going to be, see, this is my big one, right? So this one is going to be 2 1/2 on either side. 1, 2 1/2. 1, 2 1/2. I'll leave those 2 little strips aside for now. Bring my mint, 2 1/8. And we're going to mark this one 2 inches. Okay, I'm going to bring my trimmer back in and trim these up. So I'm going to be cutting these on an angle from the little side marks down to the middle mark, and we're going to make a point on all of them. So I'm just lining up the marks, my trimmer, so it becomes like a little banner. There's that one. Almost done. Just have one more to do. Let's just do this Daisy Meadows pattern paper. These 2 nice little points. Lots of little triangles afterwards. That could be fun for something, huh? Let me save those. Those look like fun little triangles. Okay. So there's my little banners. Now I can take this and move it aside. Bring this card back in. Again, I have the ridge side down. And this is going to be really easy to build because it's just going to line up at the very, very top. So it's super easy to build. So you're going to start with the big one, which is the peacock. And you're just going to layer up. I'm going to do dark side of peacock, just like I almost always do. One of my favorite colors. I love this color. Okay, peacock. Oh, that didn't look right, does it? Ha ha ha. I don't think I measured correctly on this peacock. What do you think? Let's try to lift this up. May have to use this somewhere else. I definitely did not measure correctly, did I? So, measure correctly on one side and I didn't on the other. It's a very skewed banner. Looks good from afar, but like this side is way high and this side is way low. Yeah, that didn't work so well, huh? Let's recut that. Let's just make sure I cut these ones correctly too. See if I have to recut everything. No, those ones are correct. Okay, so let's just recut the peacock. Okay. Redo, huh? Okay, the peacock was a 4 1/4 by, let's see here, 3 3/4. So 4 1/4, there's my 4 1/4. Let's do 3 3/4. Okay, let's try this. Okay, the 4 1/4 is going to go the long ways. And I'm going to measure down 2 1/2. I think I only did 2 1/4 or something like that. 2 1/2. There. 1, 2, and a half there. That looks much better. Let's bring that trimmer back in. Okay, try this again, huh? Okay, again, cute little triangles. To rewatch this video, see what I did wrong. Okay, that looks so much better. I can already see it. Okay. Bring my card base back in. At least I didn't damage my card base. Yeah, don't even need to be lined up. Okay. There, that looks... Does that look even still, or no? Yeah, that looks even. We'll know when we put this one on, huh? Yeah, there we go. There's my good points. The points match up now. And I know this one matches up because I looked. They match up more or less. Okay. Now, bring in a couple flowers. I have 4 flowers cut. And this is from the Daisy Meadows scrapbooking set. And I'm just going to play around with placement. I kind of want the petals like that. I don't want to hide this point. I really like this point. So maybe I come over. I think this one might just be too big. So if I use these two, I could layer it up, or I could just use some leaves too. So there's a leaf in this set too, and that would not be hard to fussy cut. So I could always fussy cut that really quickly. Let's see here. I have some others in here. Let's see what I have. So I have these little guys as well. I have quite a few of these. They're already stamped. I don't really want them down there because I have something else that I'm going to be placing down there. So I don't know if I really want those, but like... Let me even just do one up there with a couple leaves. I think that might be what I do. Okay, so let's just move all of these aside. I have those for another day. I'm just going to take my stamps out. Now, if I wanted a different color, which I might do, I might just do the leaves on this mint and keep with the mint. My little 1x. So I finally broke down and got a 1x block. And it is so cute. It's so little, but it's perfect for the little leaf. So, okay, season the stamp. I'm going to be using Peacock. I don't want to color it. So I'm just going to use mint and Peacock. Mint for the paper, Peacock for the leaf. Let's do 3. Okay, there's my 3 leaves. The cool thing about, so I'm learning this as I go, right? Like we all do. But the reason why I finally broke down and bought a 2x and a 1x block was my square blocks is because, for one, it's easier to do rock and rolls, and two, you have a less of a chance of smudging. So just keep that in mind, because if you have it right along the block, then really your smudge lines here are not going to be on your paper. It's going to be a lot more difficult to smudge. Okay, I've used this one a lot. So, and like all the flowers, they're never symmetrical. So always figure out which way these go. It goes like that. Okay, so there's how that goes. I'm going to line this one up the same way. If I can figure it out. I think it goes like that. See how these two are like welded and then these three are welded? Okay, so now I know that it needs to go like that. Okay, and I'm going to do that in, I think actually I have intense blackout right now because I was thinking about coloring these, but I think I'm going to leave them white. And I'm going to grab my archival. I just like archival so much better. It's a bolder black. Rub, 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 tap, tap, tap. Line up and stamp. And this is really the first time I'm using my 2 and my 1x. And guys, I'm regretting not having them earlier. Man, that was easy. It's easier to have one that is perfect size for your stamp. So if you don't have them all, I highly suggest it. You don't need to, but I do suggest it. Okay, put that guy back on there. Now I've used that one a lot, and so the stick on the back, I don't know if you guys have ever encountered this, but the sticky is on the back. I've also used backside on this as an embellishment. If it starts to lose its stickiness to go on your block or on the mat that it comes on, plastic sheet, just wash it with warm water and soap. It'll get its stickiness back. Okay, so I'm just going to fussy cut these really quickly. No, I don't know if I'm going to be using all of these, or both of these flowers, or all of these leaves. But I wanted them just to have. Well, that was not a very good fussy cut, was it? And when you're fussy cutting, make sure you turn the paper and not the scissors. And just like the blocks, it's easier if they're all really close to the edges of the paper when you fussy cut. So you hold the scissors still and you just rotate your scissors around, or your paper around your scissors. That's the best way to do a fussy cut. And I get a really wide scissors to do so at first, and then that way, see, I open them really wide, and then that way I have a gradual closure and it's nice and smooth. Okay, bring the card back in center. I really don't want to cover up that cute little point. So maybe I have them higher, like that. That might be cute, huh? I think that might be where I glue them down. And I'm going to glue one and put the other one with 3D foam tape. Put this one down right there. Get my 3D foam tape. that's cute. There's a little point still. So that's really a good feature of this card, is this point. That's probably the main feature, so you just kind of want to make sure that you don't hide that. Now, a lot of the time what I do is I sit here and I lift these up with my scissors again. And I'll just play with the placement of these. So I might use all of these pieces. In fact, I think I will. Hey, that's kind of cute. 3 is probably a good amount. You know, good things come in odds. Stick this under there. This one doesn't have to be lifted because it's under the 3 foam tape. Yeah, that's good. And we'll put this one in between the 2 behind the bottom one. There we go. My scissors out of there. Now I bought a new really nice tool. I just came out with these again. They used to have tweezers, but here are the new guys. Really nice, really easy to use. So you can tell that I'm going to be using probably sequins or something like that. So I'm going to grab my sequins and my glass. My glass almost always gets clogged, no matter what I've done. So I just keep a pin on the side of it, little safety pin next to it, and I just unclog it with that. So there it is. There's my liquid glass. And so we're going to be using that. We're going to be using my tweezers. But let's get our sentiment first. My sentiment I'm going to be fussy cutting as well. I'm going to be using a new stamp set. It's called Spot On Sentiments. And this is a really cool application in the new catalog. I'm going to be using it differently. But you know those Starburst cards? Yeah, there's going to be a thin cut for that now. Very cool. So, well, there's a hang in there. I've been wanting a hang in there. That's just Sending Sunshine for this card, though. This is a very sunny card. So, I think that's a 2x block size. And I'm not going to care which way I stamp it on here, but I think I'm going to stamp it in Peacock. Oh, let's do Toffee. Yeah, let's do Toffee. It's a nice, calm color. Rub, rub, rub. Now this one, actually, I'm going to use a double foam on because this is a solid sentiment, solid background. I don't know about you, but solid backgrounds can give issues. So I may have to do this a couple times. May have to stamp this a couple times. Especially since the writing is so thin. Actually, that turned out pretty darn well, I think. Sending Sunshine. I don't think I need to do anything. Usually I have to do solid backgrounds a couple times before they actually become solid in the background. You really want to season your solid backgrounds really well, or else you're not going to see the sentiment as well as you normally would. Again, turn your paper with instead of your scissors. That's a little unbalanced, so I'm just going to go trim some more off. And you can do this if you have thin cuts that you got a little askew, whether you cut it after you stamped it or you stamped it after you cut it. Sometimes they get a little off. And you can always fussy cut just the little edges, but there's my sentiment. And now I have these two other strips, these guys here, and I'm going to have them, the sentiment's going to be down here, and these are going to be dovetailed and peeking out of this sentiment, more or less like so. So I probably want these about 1 inch. And they're so thin. Who cares if you get it right at 1 inch, right? It's not that critical for these ones. Just going to dovetail it. Okay, that's my pretty dove. And even if you don't have a straight line, this is going to be hiding anyway, so it's not critical to grab your trimmer and redo it, in my opinion. Now, if you're a perfectionist, then by all means, grab your trimmer and trim them. And I like one shorter than the other. Okay, so that's, I'm going to have one that's more or less flat. So the peacock that's flat. And then this guy will be a bit shorter, peeking out. That. I'm going to 3D foam tape this one because I think we need some more pop on there. Plus it's easy. Stick it on such a little guy. Sending sunshine. Okay, now we need some shimmers and some pretties, right? So I've got candy. A lot of people ask me why I still use this pack, and it's because they have all of these really great little sequins in there. So they have silvers and whites and blacks, and I kind of just like the differences of all those. So I use them. So I'm just going to dump it out. I should probably separate out all the little pumpkins and spiders and ghosts, but I don't. And there's some clear ones in here too. So, but I like this pack a lot. So I'm going to be using my liquid glass. And I'm going to be putting, let's put one here. Let's make sure this actually comes out. It doesn't spray all over my project, right? You don't want that to happen. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 above, 3 below, and then a couple down here, okay? So I'm going to do one there, one there, one there. I'm just doing some visual triangles. That's usually the best way to do it. There's one there. Let's do one there. And let's hide one right in this peacock. And then I'm going to do a couple down here. And this will drag your eye all the way down the page, which is really nice. I'm just going to grab my little tweezers. I'm going to just choose these ones. Let's put maybe that one there. Maybe I'll do a white on the peacock. Now I use my liquid glass. You guys can use whatever liquid adhesive you have. Come here, dark silver. I like the dark silvers in here. If I can find another one, I just flung one at myself. Wee! That sequin's going everywhere, don't I? Just not in the proper place to, not flipped up like I want them. There we go. So these are really, they come to a really nice point, and I'm finding out that I can put my point inside of the sequin. It's pretty neat. Let me know in the comments below how you do sequins. How you grab these little guys. I'll do a white one up there. We'll do a clear one right there. The cool thing about this pack is that it has so many different colors of sequins. Like it has white, clear, and then a dark silver. I mean, they all do, but just like this one, they all have a good variety. Let's do a little guy on here. So now I have little shinies everywhere. So very fun. It pulls your eye from one side to the other. You guys want some resting space in a card, but you also want to have your embellishments pull your eye all the way across your card so that the recipient is seeing it. So there's my card. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to clean up all these sequins. I poured all out. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.